Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to talk about something everyone wants: money. But here is the truth. Money is not only about hard work, it is also about mindset. Two people can work equally hard, but only one becomes successful. Why? Because one understands how to attract money, and the other does not. Money follows value. Money follows mindset. Money follows behavior. In this video, we are going to learn 6 powerful ways to attract money into your life. Not just by working harder, but by thinking smarter. So watch this video till the end, because this can change your financial future. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Visualize money and success. The first way to attract money is this: visualize money and success. Now understand this clearly. Everything in life begins in the mind. Before a building is built, it is first imagined. Before success is achieved, it is first seen in the mind. Before money grows in your life, you must first believe that it can grow. That is why visualization is powerful. It is not magic. It is not just wishful thinking. It is mental direction. Now let's go deeper. Most people think about money in the wrong way. They don't imagine abundance, they imagine problems. They think, I don't have enough. Money is hard to get. My life will always stay like this. And when you think like this every day, your mind becomes weak. You stop seeing opportunities. You stop believing in bigger possibilities. You stay trapped inside fear and limitation. Now imagine something different. Every day you close your eyes and see a better future. You see yourself earning more. You see yourself becoming financially stronger. You see yourself living a better life. You see yourself paying your bills with peace. You see yourself helping your family. You see yourself moving from struggle to stability. What happens? Your mind starts changing, because the mind follows the picture you repeat. If you repeat fear, your mind becomes fearful. If you repeat success, your mind starts preparing for success. This is why visualization matters so much. Now here is something very important. Visualization is not about lying to yourself. It is about training yourself. You are teaching your mind to stop living only in lack and start moving toward possibility. That changes your attitude. And attitude changes action. And action changes results. Now let's go even deeper. When a person constantly thinks about failure, their body also responds. They feel tired. They feel doubtful. They feel afraid to take action. But when a person sees success in their mind, something powerful happens. Their energy changes. Their confidence changes. Their decisions change. Why? Because now they are not walking blindly. They have a picture inside them, a direction. And a person with direction moves differently from a person with fear. Now imagine this. Two people want money and success. The first person keeps saying, life is hard. Nothing will change. I can't do big things. The second person says, I can grow. I can earn more. I can build a better future. Now tell me, who will take bigger action? Who will stay more focused? Who will notice more opportunities? Of course, the one who sees possibility. That is the power of visualization. Now here is something many people misunderstand. Visualization alone is not enough. You cannot only sit and imagine money and then do nothing. That is not real growth. Real visualization must lead to action. First, you see it in your mind. Then you believe it in your heart. Then you work for it with your hands. This is the full process. See it. Believe it. Act on it. Now let's talk about money specifically. If every day you think of money with stress, you will build a negative relationship with money. You will fear it. You will chase it in panic. You will feel poor even before trying. But if every day you visualize money with calmness and clarity, you start building a healthy relationship with it. You stop seeing money as something impossible. You start seeing it as something you can attract by value, skill, patience, and right effort. And that changes your whole mindset. Now imagine this. Every morning, even for a few minutes, you sit quietly. You imagine your better future. You imagine financial freedom. You imagine growth. You imagine progress. You imagine success in your work. Not in a fake way, not in an emotional way only, but in a focused way. You ask yourself, what kind of life do I want? How much do I want to grow? What kind of person must I become to earn that money? Now visualization becomes powerful because it is not only about the money, it is also about the person you are becoming. Now here is something very powerful. The mind works like a filter. When you tell it again and again that success is possible, it starts noticing useful things. Ideas, chances, connections, new opportunities, things you were ignoring before, now become visible. Why? Because your focus changed, and what you focus on grows in importance. This is why some people stay stuck in the same place for years, not always because they are lazy, but because their mind is full of the wrong picture. They see limits. They see fear. They see struggle. So that becomes their direction. But the person who sees growth moves toward growth. Now let's go even deeper. Visualization also removes inner poverty. Inner poverty is when a person feels small inside. Even if opportunity comes, they don't believe they deserve it. Even if success comes near, they push it away. Why? Because inside they still think, this is not for me. But when you visualize success again and again, you start breaking that old mindset. You begin to feel more worthy. You begin to feel more prepared. You begin to feel like growth belongs in your life too. And that is very important, because money often enters the life of the person who is mentally ready for it. Now here is a powerful truth. You move toward the image you hold in your mind. If your mental image is small, your life often stays small. If your mental image becomes bigger, your actions rise to match it. That is why visualization is not childish. It is strategic. It gives the mind a target. And when the mind has a clear target, it becomes easier to stay disciplined. Now let me give you a very powerful line to remember. See it clearly in your mind, believe it deeply in your heart, and work for it daily with your life. So, from today, stop imagining failure. Stop repeating negative thoughts about money. Stop seeing only lack. Start visualizing abundance. Start seeing growth. Start seeing yourself becoming financially stronger. Because the future you keep seeing becomes the future you start creating. This is the first way to attract money. Visualize money and success, and let your mind move your life in that direction. Lesson 2. Be grateful for what you have. The second way to attract money is this. Be grateful for what you have. Now understand this clearly. Gratitude is not just a feeling. It is a mindset. And this mindset can change your entire life. Now let's go deeper. Most people focus on what they don't have. They think, I don't have enough money. My life is not where I want it to be. Others are doing better than me. And because of this, they feel frustrated. They feel stressed. They feel unhappy. And slowly, they start believing that their life is lacking. Now here is something very important. When you constantly focus on what is missing, you create a mindset of lack. And when your mind is full of lack, you cannot attract abundance. Now imagine the opposite. You start focusing on what you already have. Maybe it is small, but it is something. You have skills, you have opportunities, you have time, you have the ability to grow. Now what happens? Your mindset changes. Instead of feeling poor, you start feeling capable. Now here is the powerful shift. Gratitude does not mean you stop growing. It means you grow from a place of peace, not from frustration. Now let's go even deeper. When you are grateful, your energy changes. You become calm, you become focused, you become positive, and this creates better decisions. Now imagine this. You wake up every day, and instead of complaining, you appreciate. You say, I have something to work with. I have the chance to improve. I can still grow. What happens? Your day starts differently. Now you are not carrying negativity. Now you are ready to move forward. Now here is something very powerful. Gratitude attracts opportunities. Because when you feel thankful, you notice more. You see possibilities. You see chances. You see growth where others see problems. Now imagine this. Two people are in the same situation. One complains, the other is grateful. Who will grow faster? The one who is grateful. Because their mind is open, not blocked by negativity. Now let's go even deeper. When you are not grateful, you start comparing. You look at others and feel jealous. You feel like you are behind. And this creates stress. Now imagine this. You stop comparing. You focus on your own journey. You appreciate your progress, no matter how small. What happens? You feel peaceful. Now your energy is not wasted on comparison. Now here is something very important. Money flows better to a calm and focused mind, not to a stressed and negative one. Now imagine this. You are grateful for your current situation, but you still want to grow. What happens? You take action from a strong mindset. You don't feel desperate. You feel in control. And that leads to better results. Now here is something powerful. Gratitude also builds discipline, because when you value what you have, you use it wisely. You don't waste your time. You don't waste your opportunities. You don't waste your effort. Now imagine this. You are thankful for your work. Now you work better. You are thankful for your income. Now you manage it wisely. You are thankful for your skills. Now you improve them. And this leads to growth. Now let's talk about money directly. If you always feel like you don't have enough, you will always feel poor, even if your income increases. But if you learn to appreciate what you have, you build a healthy relationship with money. You respect it. You use it wisely. And that attracts more. Now imagine this. You are calm about money. You are not desperate. You are not stressed. You are focused. What happens? You make better financial decisions. Now your money grows. Now here is something very powerful. Gratitude removes fear. Because when you are thankful, you are not afraid of losing everything. You trust that you can rebuild. You trust that you can grow again. And this confidence creates strength. Now let me give you a powerful line to remember. Be grateful for what you have, because gratitude turns what you have into enough and opens the door for more. So from today, stop complaining about what is missing. Stop comparing your life with others. Stop focusing only on lack. Start appreciating. Start noticing what you already have. Because when you feel grateful, you become stronger. And when you become stronger, you attract more opportunities, more growth, and more money into your life. This is the second way. Be grateful for what you have and watch your life begin to change. Lesson 3. Stop worrying about money. The third way to attract money is this. Stop worrying about money. Now understand this clearly. Worry does not solve problems. It only drains your energy. And when your energy is drained, you cannot think clearly, you cannot act wisely, and you cannot grow. Now let's go deeper. Most people think about money all the time, but in the wrong way. They don't think with clarity. They think with fear. They think, what if I don't have enough? What if things go wrong? What if I fail? And these thoughts create stress. Now here is something very important. When your mind is full of worry, it becomes weak. You overthink, you feel pressure, you lose focus. And when you lose focus, you make poor decisions. Now imagine this. You are constantly worried about money. Every day you feel stress. What happens? You cannot think creatively. You cannot see opportunities. You cannot take smart risks because your mind is busy with fear. Now imagine the opposite. You are calm about money. You are aware of your situation, but you are not afraid. You are focused. You are clear. Now what happens? You think better. You act better. You make smarter decisions. Now here is the powerful shift. Worrying about money does not bring money. Working with clarity does. Now let's go even deeper. Worry is a negative loop. The more you think about problems, the bigger they feel. And the bigger they feel, the more you worry. And this cycle never ends. Now imagine this. You break that cycle. You stop feeding fear. You start focusing on solutions. What happens? Your mind becomes lighter. Now you can think. Now you can act. Now here is something very powerful. Money requires clear thinking. You need to plan. You need to decide. You need to take action. But worry blocks all of this. Now imagine this. You are calm. You look at your situation honestly. You ask yourself, what can I do? How can I improve? What step can I take today? What happens? You move forward. Even if slowly, you move. Now here is something very important. Worry comes from lack of control, but action creates control. The more you act, the less you worry. Now imagine this. Instead of worrying about money, you focus on earning. You focus on improving your skills. You focus on finding opportunities. You focus on taking action. What happens? Your confidence increases. Now worry decreases. Now here is something powerful. Money does not come to a stressed mind. It comes to a focused mind. Because a focused person sees what others miss. Now imagine this. Two people are in the same situation. One is worrying all the time. The other is calm and taking action. Who will grow faster? The one who is calm. Because they are not wasting energy. They are using it. Now let's go even deeper. Worry also affects your emotions. It makes you feel tired. It makes you feel negative. It makes you feel stuck. And when you feel stuck, you stop trying. Now imagine this. You replace worry with trust, not blind trust, but calm confidence. You trust that you can improve. You trust that you can find a way. What happens? You feel stronger. Now you move forward. Now here is something very important. Stopping worry does not mean ignoring reality. It means facing reality with a calm mind. Now imagine this. You accept your situation. You don't panic. You don't overthink. You simply focus on what you can do. What happens? Your life becomes manageable. Now here is something powerful. When your mind is calm, your decisions become powerful, and decisions create results. Now let me give you a powerful line to remember. Stop worrying about money, because fear blocks growth, but clarity creates opportunity. So from today, don't let fear control your thoughts. Don't let worry drain your energy. Don't stay stuck in negative thinking. Stay calm, think clearly, take action. Because money is not attracted by stress. It is attracted by focus, effort, and smart decisions. This is the third way. Stop worrying about money and start working with clarity and confidence. Lesson 4. Remove jealous thoughts. The fourth way to attract money is this. Remove jealous thoughts. Now understand this clearly. Jealousy is one of the biggest hidden enemies of success. It does not harm others. It harms you. Now let's go deeper. Most people compare themselves with others. They see someone earning more. They see someone living better. They see someone achieving success. And instead of feeling inspired, they feel jealous. They think, why them, not me? They don't deserve it. My life is not fair. And slowly, their mind fills with negativity. Now here is something very important. Jealousy blocks growth. Because when you focus on others, you stop focusing on yourself. Now imagine this. You spend your time watching others, comparing your life with theirs. Feeling negative? What happens? You waste your energy. You don't improve. You don't take action. You don't grow. Now imagine the opposite. You see someone successful, and instead of jealousy, you feel inspired. You think, if they can do it, I can also learn. What can I learn from them? How can I improve myself? What happens? Your mindset becomes positive. Now you are not stuck. You are moving forward. Now here is the powerful shift. Don't compare your life. Improve your life. Now let's go even deeper. Jealousy creates a feeling of lack. It makes you believe that success is limited, that if someone else has more, you have less. But this is not true. Success is not limited. Money is not limited. Opportunities are not limited. There is enough for everyone. Now imagine this. You believe that growth is possible for you too. What happens? You feel motivated. You feel hopeful. Now your energy moves toward action. Now here is something very powerful. Your mind cannot grow when it is filled with negativity. Jealousy creates stress. Jealousy creates frustration. Jealousy creates distraction. And all of this stops progress. Now imagine this. You remove jealousy. You focus only on your path. You improve your skills. You build your value. You take action daily. What happens? Your life starts changing. Now here is something very important. Everyone has a different journey, different timing, different opportunities, different struggles. So comparing your life with others is meaningless. Now imagine this. You respect your journey. You move at your own pace. You don't rush because of others. What happens? You feel peaceful. Now you grow steadily. Now here is something powerful. When you remove jealousy, you create space for growth because your mind becomes clear. Now you can think better. Now you can act better. Now you can see opportunities. Now imagine this. You celebrate others' success. You feel happy for them. What happens? Your mindset becomes strong because you are not threatened. You are inspired. Now here's something very important. The energy you give comes back to you. If you give negativity, you receive negativity. If you give positivity, you receive positivity. Now imagine this. You think positively. You act positively. You focus on growth. What happens? Your life attracts better outcomes. Now let me give you a powerful line to remember. Remove jealousy. Because your growth begins when you stop comparing and start improving. So from today, stop comparing your life with others. Stop feeling jealous of others' success. Stop focusing on what others have. Focus on yourself. Improve daily. Because when your mind is clear, your path becomes clear. And when your path is clear, you move toward success. This is the fourth way. Remove jealous thoughts and create space for growth and money in your life. Lesson 5. Learn from failure. The fifth way to attract money is this. Learn from failure. Now understand this clearly. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. But most people don't see it this way. They fail once, and they stop. They feel discouraged. They feel weak. They feel like they are not capable. And because of that, they never try again. Now let's go deeper. Every successful person has failed. Not once, not twice, many times. But the difference is, they didn't stop. They learned. Now imagine this. You try something. You fail. Now you have two choices. First, you feel bad, you lose confidence, you give up. What happens? Nothing changes. Second, you observe. You ask yourself, what went wrong? What can I improve? What can I do differently next time? What happens? You grow. Now here is something very important. Failure gives you feedback. It shows you what doesn't work. And that is valuable. Now imagine this. Every time you fail, you learn something. Slowly, you become better. Your skills improve. Your understanding improves. Your mindset becomes stronger. Now here's the powerful shift. Don't fear failure. Use it. Now let's go even deeper. Failure builds resilience. It makes you stronger. Because when things don't go your way, you learn to handle pressure. You learn to stay calm. You learn to try again. And this strength is very important for success. Now imagine this. You face problems. Instead of quitting, you continue. You adapt, you adjust, you improve. What happens? You become unstoppable. Now here's something very powerful. People who never fail, never grow. Because growth comes from challenge. Now imagine this. Everything is easy. You never struggle. What happens? You stay the same. But when you face difficulty, you are forced to improve. Now here is something very important. Failure also removes fear. The first time you fail, you feel scared. But after that, you realize it is not the end. Now your fear reduces. Now you take more action. Now you take better risks. And this leads to growth. Now imagine this. You are not afraid to fail. You are ready to try. What happens? You move faster because you are not stuck in fear. Now here is something powerful. Money comes to people who are willing to try again because building income requires learning, adjusting, and improving. Now imagine this. You try something new. It doesn't work. Instead of quitting, you learn. You try again. Now slowly, you find what works. Now your results improve. Now your income grows. Now here's something very important. Failure is not a loss. If you learn from it, it becomes a lesson. Now let me give you a powerful line to remember. Failure is not the end. It is the lesson that brings you closer to success. So from today, don't be afraid to fail. Don't quit after one mistake. Don't see failure as weakness. See it as growth. Learn from it. Use it. Because every failure is preparing you for success. This is the fifth way. Learn from failure and turn your mistakes into progress and money. Lesson 6. Build a strong network. The sixth and final way to attract money is this: build a strong network. Now understand this clearly. Money does not grow in isolation. It grows through people. Opportunities come from people. Ideas come from people. Growth comes from people. And the people you surround yourself with can change your life. Now let's go deeper. Most people try to do everything alone. They think, I will figure it out myself. I don't need anyone. But this mindset slows growth because one person has limited knowledge, limited experience, limited reach. Now imagine this. You connect with the right people. People who are focused, people who are growing, people who are thinking bigger. What happens? Your thinking expands. Now you see new possibilities. Now here is something very important. Your network influences your mindset. If you are surrounded by negative people, you start thinking negatively. If you are surrounded by growth-minded people, you start thinking bigger. Now imagine this. You spend time with people who talk about ideas, people who talk about improvement, people who talk about opportunities. What happens? You start thinking in the same direction. Now here is the powerful shift. Don't just work on your skills, work on your connections. Now let's go even deeper. A strong network gives you opportunities. Sometimes, you don't find opportunities alone. They come through people. Someone tells you about a chance. Someone introduces you to the right person. Someone helps you move forward. And this changes everything. Now imagine this. You know the right people. You are connected. You are visible. What happens? Your chances increase. Now here is something very powerful. Your network can open doors that your effort alone cannot. Now imagine this. You are working hard, but no one knows you. What happens? Your growth is slow. But if people know you, trust you, connect with you, what happens? Your growth becomes faster. Now here is something very important. A strong network is not about using people. It is about building real relationships, helping others, supporting others, connecting genuinely, because real connections are based on trust, not benefit. Now imagine this. You help people. You share value. You build trust. What happens? People remember you. People respect you. People support you. And this creates opportunities. Now here is something powerful. Your reputation is part of your network. What people think about you matters. Now imagine this. You are known as a positive, reliable, and hardworking person. What happens? People want to work with you. People want to help you. And that brings growth. Now let's go even deeper. Your network also gives you learning. You learn from others' experiences. You learn from their mistakes. You learn from their success. And this saves your time. Now imagine this. Instead of struggling alone for years, you learn faster through people. What happens? You grow faster. Now here is something very important. Networking is not about quantity. It is about quality. You don't need many people. You need the right people. Now imagine this. You have a small circle, but strong connections. What happens? You feel supported. You feel guided. You feel connected. And that creates confidence. Now here is something very powerful. Money follows value, and value increases through people. The more you connect, the more you grow. Now imagine this. You build your network slowly. You connect genuinely. You grow together. What happens? Your opportunities multiply. Now let me give you a powerful line to remember. Build strong connections, because your network can take you where your effort alone cannot. So from today, don't isolate yourself. Don't try to do everything alone. Don't ignore the power of people. Connect, learn, grow together. Because when you build a strong network, you create more opportunities, more growth, and more money in your life. This is the final way. Build a strong network and open the doors to success. Money is not only about working harder, it is about thinking smarter. Your mindset decides your direction. Your habits decide your growth. Your actions decide your results. If you change the way you think about money, you will change the way money comes into your life. Don't wait for luck. Create your own opportunities. Start today. Because your future depends on what you do now. If you learned something valuable from this video, then don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell. Because we bring you powerful lessons that can transform your mindset and your life. And always remember, money follows value, and value grows with discipline, mindset, and action. I will see you in the next video.